man has the same dream 999 times, each time ending in immense heartache, because in the dream, there is a beautiful woman in royal garb cradling a baby. She seemed to see him through a dream, conveying something vague through her gaze. Just now, Jai Feng quickly withdrew his right hand that was reaching for Lin Ma, then stared intently at Lin Ma lying on the bed. His eyes seemed indecisive, sometimes furious, sometimes remorseful. Finally, he let out a long sigh and returned to his usual demeanor. In the blink of an eye, a week has passed, and Lin Ma, who had been in a coma for 7 days, finally woke up. During his coma, Lin Ma would dream of a place where layered mountains stretched far and wide, and the people lived a peaceful life of plowing and weaving. But then one day, war broke out. The army of Zhou Kingdom swept across the peaceful land like locusts. Towns and villages suddenly turned into living hells, corpses piling up like mountains. When they stormed the palace, they didn't just kill whoever they saw, they also looted treasures and gold and silver from the palace. In the end, the majestic and magnificent palace was reduced to ashes and smoke, and at the end of the dream, there would appear a beautiful woman dressed in royal clothes, cradling a baby and holding the hand of a young boy. It's as if she's trying to tell him something through her eyes. Whenever he dreamt up to this point, Lin Ma's heart would ache as if being torn apart. What on earth is happening? I've never been to any of those places, but everything in the dream feels so real. Upon Lin Ma's awakening, Black Little Fat at his bedside wept with joy and promptly threw himself into Lin Ma's arms. I thought you would never wake up in this lifetime. You're crushing me, Fatso. You really need to lose weight. By the way, how long have I been unconscious? A full 7 days. You're so lucky to have slept through the military training. Look at what the training has done to me. Black Little Fat pointed to his sunburnt neck and proudly said it was all thanks to Lin Ma. If it wasn't for taking care of you in the hospital, I wouldn't have been able to skip classes. Just then, a mocking laugh came from the bed across the room. So even you have a day when you're carried into the hospital. Lin Ma looked up in surprise. The person was Luan Chang, who he and Ah Chio had beaten up. Both of Luan Chang's legs were shattered, now wrapped in bandages and suspended in midair. I'm just under the weather. I'll be fine after lying down for a few days. Not like you. You'll probably spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. At this moment, Luan Chang's face looked extremely unpleasant. Don't get cocky. I will take revenge for my broken legs. Oh, you're still bragging. Do you believe that I'll break your third leg right now? Black Little Fat innocently asked. Where does he get a third leg? Just then, Lin Ma suddenly slapped his forehead. Something's not right. I feel like I forgot something. Where's Enran? Where did Enran go? You mean that young girl? She's also hospitalized due to injuries. Black Little Fat spoke softly. It's not just injuries. Enran almost lost her life trying to save you. She's still in critical condition in the ICU. I have to go find her. Lin Ma, in his urgency, jumped right off the bed. As a result, his legs gave way and he fell to the ground, making Luan Chang extremely excited. Ha, looks like your legs are messed up too. I'm just numb because I've been lying down for too long. Lin Ma slowly got up, then walked over to Luan Chang, suggesting that since the other party is so concerned about him, he must give a return gift. Directly aimed at Luan Chang's right leg and flicked it. In the midst of Luan Chang's painful screams, the emotional collapse point arrived as expected. You little trash. Who gave you the nerve? If you're capable, come and chase me. Lin Ma directly gave Luan Chang the middle finger. Mu Wanqing brought Lin Ma to the intensive care unit. At this time, Enran was wrapped all over in bandages. Her usually smiling face was pale and devoid of any color, the once vibrant eyes tightly closed. What's her condition now? At this moment, Lin Ma felt like his heart was being ripped apart, as if something was stuck in his throat. Mu Wanqing sadly said, she was repeatedly attacked by White Soul Ghost while protecting you. There's hardly a part of her body that's intact. The most troublesome part is she's poisoned by White Soul Ghost. Even though we've administered antitoxin serum, the results are not promising. It may be a unique poison controlled by the Ghost Master of White Soul Ghost. She's in this condition because of me. I must save her. Who from the safety bureau hurt her? Lin Ma clenched his fists, suppressing the raging anger within. It was Sun Deli, the deputy director of the safety bureau. I'm going to find him now. Lin Ma immediately turned to leave, but as he reached the door of the medical office, he bumped into Zhai Feng. Where are you going? Zhai Feng's face was extremely cold. His eyes were faintly looking at Lin Ma. I'm going to find Sun Deli to see if there's a chance to get an antidote. Come with me first. Zhai Feng walked directly upstairs after saying this. I don't have time for this. Lin Ma was incredibly anxious, worried that without an antidote, Enran could die from poisoning. Mu Wanqing quickly reminded Lin Ma, you can't be so disrespectful to the principal. If it wasn't for him single-handedly fighting the safety bureau that night, you would have already been taken by the safety bureau. Lin Ma was momentarily dazed. So it was him who saved me. Isn't he just a big talker? How could he have such formidable fighting capabilities? The principal must have something important to tell you. I think you should go with him. If he could save you, he wouldn't harm you. Lin Ma nodded and immediately followed Zhai Feng to the rooftop. That night, the safety bureau didn't see clearly who you were, but with their capabilities, it should be easy for them to find out your identity. Zhai Feng turned to inquire Lin Ma, you probably still haven't figured out why the safety bureau wants to capture you, have you? Lin Ma was preoccupied with finding an antidote for Enran. He hadn't considered any of this. Now that I think about it, it's strange. Surely, the safety bureau can't be mobilizing just to to avenge Sun Mao. You don't even know the ins and outs of the situation, yet you're rushing into the safety bureau. What do you think are your chances of getting out alive? Do you think you, a level 1 ghost master, are a match for Sun Deli? Every word Zhai Feng said made sense, and Lin Ma found himself speechless in response. He knew that since Zhai Feng had called him up, there must be a solution to the problem, so he quickly approached the principal for help. Not far from the school, there's a green corpse ghost tomb. It contains at least 7 or 8 malevolent spirits, and 1 wicked spirit-level green corpse ghost. If you can clear them all out, then you'll have the strength to fight a level 3 ghost master. It's only then you should go find Sun Deli, and you'll have some chances of winning. What about Ran? She's deeply poisoned and her life is in danger at any moment. Just go and do it. With me here, she won't die within a month. Lin Ma felt a huge relief in his heart, and quickly bowed to thank Zhai Feng for his assistance. Zhai Feng smiled, saying it was the right thing to do, and that it was no waste to consider Lin Ma his disciple. Disciple? The principal calls it that voluntarily. Does he intend to take me as his disciple? Although you're a student of Ares Academy, being a disciple is different. Kid, would you like to be my disciple? Lin Ma was very puzzled at this point. After all, Zhai Feng was incredibly strong. Many people wished to become his disciples, but couldn't find a way. So why would he actively want to take Lin Ma as a disciple? Seeing Lin Ma's hesitation, Zhai Feng asked with a smile, "What, you think I'm not worthy to be your master? I wouldn't dare. You've already saved me and Ran. That's a huge favor. It would be my honor to be your disciple. Master, please accept this bow from your disciple." Zhai Feng smilingly helped Lin Ma up, looking very satisfied. "You're quite smart, kid." Looking at Zhai Feng's smile, Lin Ma knew he had to be cautious, or he might end up being sold and still count the money for the buyer. As for why the safety bureau wants to capture you, you can investigate that yourself. Remember to come to my office after 11 p.m. After saying this, Zhai Feng prepared to leave the rooftop. It looks like he's giving me some special training. Lin Ma quickly nodded in agreement. Zhai Feng casually asked, "By the way, I remember you're a student in financial need. What do your parents do back home?" "My parents grow wheat at home, and my sister has been suffering from a serious illness, so she stays home." Zhai Feng looked at Lin Ma and nodded meaningfully. "I see." In the afternoon, Lin Ma and Black Little Fat headed to the classroom for their class. Black Little Fat said Lin Ma should have stayed unconscious for a few more days. That way, he could continue to skip classes. "Are you kidding me? Should I just become a vegetable? That way you can skip classes until you're 6 feet under. You're such a good student." "That's a great idea. I'll go to the medical room every day to visit you, and also get a chance to talk to Sister Mo." Lin Ma gave Black Little Fat a side glance. "My head must have been squeezed by a door to have made friends with someone as fickle as you." After the major selection was completed, Lin Ma was assigned to a control system major, while Black Little Fat went into the tank support system, and Achio got into the assassin system. Although the 3 of them were not in the same major, they still had many theoretical classes together. The large classroom was filled with students at this time. All the male students were lavishing attention on the few female students in the class. Even the more imposing meat shield girls, who are more imposing than Black Little Fat, are not spared. Lin Ma was somewhat shocked. Good heavens, how can they bring themselves to do this? You're a person who doesn't know hunger because you're full. You have Sister Mu and Ran with you. How could these ordinary girls catch your eye? At this moment, Lin Ma noticed Achio sitting in the first row, and couldn't help but admire him greatly. This top student is indeed a top student. His level of self-discipline is extraordinary. Lin Ma casually found an empty seat and sat down. He had noticed the ancient sword pattern on his left arm when he woke up, indicating that he had successfully formed a contract with the residual spirit of Sword Ghost. However, no matter how he tried to activate his mental power, he couldn't sense the main body of the Sword Ghost, let alone summon or control the Sword Ghost. Now that the legendary 8 Ghosts King is giving him one-on-one guidance, this problem will surely be solved. While Lin Ma was deep in thought, the melodious class bell rang. Zhai Feng walked into the classroom with a book in hand. "Please be quiet, everyone. I have an important announcement to make. Today we have 3 exchange students from Snow Phoenix Academy. Let's give them a warm welcome." 2 females and 1 male entered from outside the classroom. Instantly, all the male students in the class were captivated, because one of them is the provincially recognized goddess, the daughter of the Safety Bureau Director, Gao Shishir. She is the epitome of beauty and wealth. Lin Ma looked at the 3 people who came in with a wary gaze. He was very clear that these were people the Safety Bureau had sent to investigate him. Does Gao Longshan not worry that I might take them down? Zhai Feng on the podium saw the lovesick expressions on the students' faces, and was immediately speechless. How did I end up with such a bunch of love-struck fools? This is utterly embarrassing. The 3 people went on stage to introduce themselves. After Gao Shishir briefly described her background, she immediately went down from the podium to find a seat. At this moment, all the students were captivated. If this fairy-like girl could sit next to them, they would willingly give up 20 years of their life. Gao Shishir's beautiful eyes quickly scanned the classroom, and with just one glance, she found her target. After all, after 7 days of time, the Safety Bureau had already found out that Lin Ma was the one who came out from the Sword Ghost tomb that day. So before coming, Gao Longshan had already shown her Lin Ma's photo, instructing her to intentionally get close to Lin Ma, and if possible, find out the location of his hometown and information about his family. family. Amid the anticipation of everyone, Gao Shishir walked straight to the seat next to Lin Ma and sat down. Her action once again set the classroom abuzz. Why the hell is it Lin Ma again? Why do all the girls seem to gravitate around him? All the male students were on the verge of tears. Lin Ma's mind was instantly filled with the prompt sound of emotional collapse points, but he felt neither excitement nor elation at the moment. Instead, he gave Gao Shishir a disgusted look. As Gao Shishir took her seat, she initiated a greeting with Lin Ma, her stunning face coupled with a warm smile. Once again infuriated all the male students in the classroom, Lin Ma sensed the faint fragrance coming from the girl next to him, but it didn't feel refreshing at all. Instead, he felt like he was smelling an 800-year-old unwashed toilet. Thinking that Gao Shishir still carried an Rant's life-granted ghost within her, and yet had the audacity to sit so nonchalantly next to him, Lin Ma couldn't suppress the nausea rising within him, and immediately got up to leave his current seat. With a blank expression, Lin Ma spoke loudly. "Excuse me, I need to change my seat." His words stunned Gao Shishir. Don't all men desire to sit next to her? Why is he voluntarily leaving? Are you deaf? I said I need to go. Excuse me. Seeing Lin Ma's fierce, glaring eyes, Gao Shishir involuntarily shivered and hastily got up to give him space. As Lin Ma brushed past her, Gao Shishir couldn't help but ask why he wanted to change seats. Don't you know why? You're such a scheming person. Lin Ma then walked straight to the first row and sat down next to Achio. The entire classroom erupted once more. The provincially recognized goddess sat next to Lin Ma, and he actually walked away dissatisfied. And what's more, Lin Ma even called her a scheming woman. Did they have some sort of past? Instantly, the students' gossiping flames were fanned. By the end of the brief class, several melodramatic stories had circulated, mostly featuring classic narratives of a poor boy's rise. Lin Ma had quickly become a new idol among the freshman class. Seeing the classroom atmosphere starting to get out of control, Shai Feng quickly pretended to cough to regain order, and then began his lecture. The class passed by quickly. After class, Lin Ma headed straight to the library. He was aware that the Safety Bureau's scrutiny had something to do with the ancient tomb and the Seal Demon Kingdom, so he deliberately focused on books that recorded the history of the Seal Demon Kingdom. After some searching, he finally found a book on the brief history of the Seal Demon Kingdom. When he saw some of the illustrations inside, Lin Ma was amazed to find they were identical to the palace he had seen in his dreams. As he continued to delve deeper, he learned that Chu Tiankui was the 12th generation national master of the Seal Demon Kingdom, who fended off the attack from the Zhou Kingdom with his inscrutable swordsmanship and was feared by the people of Zhou Kingdom as the Sword Ghost. However, after Chu Tiankui's death, the land of the Seal Demon Kingdom was gradually consumed by the Zhou Kingdom until it finally fell 50 years ago. The last monarch of the Seal Demon Kingdom died for his country. Only the Seal Demon Prince managed to escape, but after hiding for 30 years, he was eventually captured and executed by the Zhou Kingdom, and the person who captured him was none other than the current director of the Safety Bureau of Jiang Province, Gao Longshan. The tomb of Sword Ghost that no one else could enter, he was able to easily access. Even the lingering spirit of Sword Ghost mistook him for the monarch of the Seal Demon Kingdom at one point, considering that his hometown is at the border between Jiang Province and Yunnan Province, and the former capital of the Seal Demon Kingdom was nearby. This was too coincidental. Could he really be a descendant of the Seal Demon Kingdom? But since the prince was already killed, he must be a descendant of some other Seal Demon royal family. No wonder the Safety Bureau bastards are investigating him. They really want to nip this in the bud. Since he is a descendant of the Seal Demon royal family, then his father's identity must not be simple either. Oh no, would they be in danger? Thinking that his farming parents have no ability to protect themselves, Lin Ma hurriedly took out his phone to call Lin Lan, but the phone rang for a long time with no answer. An anxious Lin Ma kept pacing around. What exactly is going on? Has the Safety Bureau already made a move? After several repeated calls, Lin Lan finally answered the phone. Dad, where are you? Why is it so noisy around you? Aren't you cutting wheat in the field? I'm on the train. I've collected some walnuts to bring to you. Don't come. The Safety Bureau in Jiang Province is currently investigating me. It will be dangerous for you. Our family has been poor farmers for generations. What's there to investigate? Poor farmers? Dad, are you sure none of our ancestors were princes or something like that? Princes? I even asked your grandfather about that. We have absolutely nothing, not even a scholar in our history. You, as a college student, are the most accomplished person in our family now. Hearing this, Lin Ma felt a bit dumbfounded. He then continued to probe Lin Lan. Could it be that our ancestors were fallen nobles? Lin Lan laughed and scolded him for being too eager to become an official. After some casual conversation, they hung up the phone. Could this really just be a coincidence? Lin Ma's brows furrowed deeply. Just then, Gao Shishir walked quietly past Lin Ma holding a book. When she noticed the Seal Demon brief history in Lin Ma's hand, her eyes immediately lit up. Lin, it seems you're very interested in history. What does it have to do with you? Lin Ma huffed and casually stuffed the book back into the shelf. We've never met before, right? Why are you always so aggressive towards me? Gao Shishir casually straightened her hair, revealing an exquisite and tempting side profile. This move would have left most men spellbound, but it had no effect on Lin Ma. Do you not know what unethical things you've done? Acting innocent in front of me, you disgust me. Lin Ma was clearly annoyed. destroyed. After all, in his view, anyone who could steal his sister's life-granted ghost was either a beast or related to one. What exactly have I done? Gao Shishir's brows slightly frowned, her cheeks flushed with anger. You know what despicable thing you've done. Lin Ma directly bypassed Gao Shishir. Stop, you have to clarify things with me today. Gao Shishir took a deep breath, reaching out to grab Lin Ma's left hand. Lin Ma coldly pushed her soft hand away, then he walked away without looking back, leaving Gao Shishir standing there, stunned. What the heck? Is this how Lin Ma treats a goddess? This gap is too big. Everyone's mood sank to an all-time low. At this moment, the term emotional collapse point kept ringing in Lin Ma's mind. I've walked so far away, and she's only emotionally collapsing now. Is the system lagging? Lin Ma arrived at the principal's office building as agreed. He knocked gently on the office door. Come in. The voice of Zhai Feng came from inside. Lin Ma pushed the door, preparing to enter, but in the next second, a figure emerged from inside. A sharp, short blade suddenly thrust towards Lin Ma's chest. The sharp blade penetrated into the flesh. An icy sensation spread throughout his body instantly. Am I really going to die like this? Lin Ma sensed the strong smell of death at that moment. No, and Rant's poison hasn't been cured yet. I haven't lived enough. A strong will to live caused his arms to suddenly tremble violently. In an instant, his fleshy arms turned into white bones. A sword formed from ghost energy suddenly appeared in the skeletal hands, and with unstoppable momentum, it thrust towards Zhai Feng. Whoosh whoosh, a gust of cold wind swirled around, filled with eerie ghostly wails. So strong, the wind and thunder sword reached Zhai Feng's throat in an instant. If it went another inch, he would be beheaded. Zhai Feng immediately retreated, pulling out the short blade that had penetrated half an inch into Lin Ma's body, blocking the ghost sword. The short blade was instantly shattered. Zhai Feng was also blasted away by the intense sword energy, crashing heavily against the wall behind him. The solid wall immediately showed spiderweb-like cracks, and Lin Ma's arms, which had turned into bones, restored their flesh. The extremely sharp bone sword also disappeared without a trace. At this moment, Lin Ma was still shaken. He cautiously watched Zhai Feng, who had struggled to jump down from the wall. Principal, what is this all about? Aren't you always unable to sense the ghost form of Sword Ghost? I was trying to force him out. Sword Ghost? Lin Ma was startled at that moment. During the danger just now, he indeed sensed the presence of Sword Ghost, but now, he couldn't sense anything. You should be well aware of the ancient tomb you visited. That is Sword Ghost's tomb. His sword has killed countless people and absorbed numerous grudges. Sword Ghost's residual spirit exists to suppress these grudges. That's why after you formed a contract with that residual spirit, the repressed grudges in the ancient sword were released, which is also the reason you were almost killed by the yin energy. The reason you can't normally sense Sword Ghost is that he is merely a residual spirit, weaker than even the weakest residual ghosts. However, there are only a few ghost masters who can summon and use him over the years. Lin Ma couldn't help but ask, what do you mean by trying to kill me with a knife just now? The residual spirits vary in strength. My deliberate ambush was intended to force him out, to see what kind of spirit he really is. If he's strong, then you can try to summon and use him. If he's useless, then consider it a waste of 0.5 contract slots. Lin Ma anxiously asked, so, how strong is he? Very strong. Don't be fooled by my composure. I've already broken several ribs. After saying this, Zhai Feng began to cough violently. Lin Ma hurriedly moved forward to help. Zhai Feng calmly waved his hand to refuse. Who do you think I am? This minor injury is nothing. But the camera then moved to Zhai Feng's back, where his left hand, which had just wiped his mouth, was visibly bleeding. Since Sword Ghost is so strong, how can I summon and utilize him? Lin Ma still insisted on helping Zhai Feng sit down in a chair. It's difficult. Whether you can summon him flexibly depends on your own insight. If you go the normal route, it will take you at least 7 or 8 years, or even decades, to master using Sword Ghost. By then, even 5 Sun Delis won't be your match. But I can't wait that long, and Rant's poisoning is severe. She's in life-threatening danger if we don't act fast to detoxify her. There is an extreme method, which is like just now, putting you continuously in near-death situations. This will trigger Sword Ghost's self-preservation instinct. During the brief moments when he appears, seize the opportunity to understand him. So if you do this repeatedly, you should be able to master him quickly. A near-death situation. How about I jump off this rooftop right now? Zhai Feng gave Lin Ma a look. Can your IQ be a bit higher? If you just jump off and he doesn't show up, you'll truly be smashed to pieces. So what should I do? How can I get into a near-death state? How about you stab me with a knife a few more times? What are you talking about? With the force Sword Ghost used to control your counterattack just now, you probably haven't grasped anything yet. I'd probably be dead before you do. Here's an idea. Go to the abandoned cemetery area and spar with those wandering ghosts. The bond between ghosts can be very deep. When you're about to be killed by another ghost, the chances of Sword Ghost showing up will be much higher. I see. The 800-mile abandoned cemetery around our school really is a good place for this, Lin Ma said, nodding in understanding. However, Master, I have a question. If that stab earlier didn't draw out Sword Ghost, wouldn't I have been killed by you? Oh, how could that happen? I had calculated it precisely. I was 100% sure that the blade would only penetrate half an inch into your body. You wouldn't have died. Zhai Feng awkwardly chuckled. I see. Thank you for the advice, Master. I'll go to the abandoned cemetery outside the school to hunt ghosts now. Lin Ma then walked straight out of the office. Watching Lin Ma's figure disappear from his line of sight, Zhai Feng could no longer hold on and spat out a mouthful of old blood. Damn, sword ghost is way too strong. I almost lost my life there. Zhai Feng painfully knelt on the ground and took off his coat, revealing countless gashes on his back. He had been holding his breath earlier to prevent the blood from flowing out. At this moment, Lin Ma was running like the wind, fully realizing his own weakness. Only by becoming stronger could he ensure the safety of the people around him. Going out this late, there's definitely something fishy. Sun Lily was watching Lin Ma's every move. He must have gone to connect with other remnants of the seal demons. If we could find and capture them all at once, it would certainly be a great achievement. Let's not jump to conclusions. We need evidence to back our claims. How is your investigation going within the school? Sun Mao said he knew a thug from Aries Academy. That thug told him that Lin Ma was carried into the hospital on the day he was admitted, bruised all over and almost dead. That settles it then. He must be the one who came out of the ancient tomb that day. It's highly likely that he was the one who triggered the sword ghost tomb. Follow him closely. Gao Shishir's pace instantly quickened, her eyes filled with determination. Once I have conclusive evidence that Lin Ma is a remnant of the seal demons, let's see if he can still act so arrogantly. The three of them immediately followed Lin Ma, leaving the school and heading quickly towards the abandoned cemetery. After running at high speed for half an hour, they increasingly felt that something was not right. The wild grave ghosts around them were becoming more numerous and stronger. We're approaching the vine-covered ancient mansion where the most wild grave ghosts are found, said Sun Mao, feeling a bit uneasy. After all, he only had one contracted ghost at the moment. Lin Ma had already noticed the tailgaters behind him but didn't care at the moment. He was more focused on finding ghosts to provoke, hoping to trigger sword ghost. Spotting a green corpse ghost, he was thrilled. Hey there, ghost brother. Lin Ma approached the green corpse ghost. Startled, the green corpse ghost took a step back, eyeing Lin Ma warily. People usually ran away at the sight of him. This guy was the first to walk right up. Lin Ma exclaimed, "Oh, look who it is. Are you the green corpse ghost who attacked me on the first day of school?" The green corpse ghost's eyes widened in recognition. "It's you, the one who killed more than a dozen of my subordinates. Do you want revenge, green corpse ghost? I killed so many of your subordinates right in front of you. You, as their leader, must feel utterly humiliated. Come on, kill me," Lin Ma said, his eyes shining as he walked straight toward the green corpse ghost. "Stay back. Tell me honestly, did you set up another ambush to attack me?" "No ambush, no tricks. I just want you to kill me as quickly as possible." Lin Ma excitedly walked up to the green corpse ghost, grabbed his hand, and placed it on his own neck. "Come on, green corpse ghost, strangle me, kill me." Stunned by Lin Ma's bizarre actions, the green corpse ghost quickly retracted his hand and took several steps back. "Are you insane?" Now it was Lin Ma's turn to be confused. "What's going on? Last time, he couldn't wait to eat me alive. Why is he avoiding me now? Could it be because I haven't taken a bath in a week and I stink? Hey, buddy, don't go. We're all acquainted here. Do me a favor and kill me." Lin Ma quickly stepped forward and grabbed the green corpse ghost again. "Bro, please help me out. I'll give you all the ghost orbs I have. If that's not enough, I can also burn some paper money for you," Lin Ma insisted. "It's not that I don't want to kill you. It's just that this northern graveyard isn't under my jurisdiction." "What do you mean it's not under your control? You're a ghost. Just kill me already and stop making excuses," Lin Ma retorted. Irritated, the green corpse ghost explained that the various ghost factions in this barren graveyard had complicated relationships. If he killed Lin Ma and offended the top ghost of the area, he would be in trouble later. Lin Ma rubbed his forehead. So, even being a ghost isn't free, huh? He suddenly realized why so many malevolent spirits hadn't attacked him. They were all afraid of breaking some unspoken rules. Seeing that Lin Ma had paused, the green corpse ghost quickly planned his escape. By the time Lin Ma snapped back to reality, the green corpse ghost was already speeding away with his underlings. Finally shook him off. What a relief. The green corpse ghost felt triumphant while running at full speed. However, in the next second, a figure appeared beside him. "Hey green corpse ghost, why don't you just bring me to your turf and kill me there?" Lin Ma said, smiling sweetly at the speeding green corpse ghost. "My goodness, would you just leave me alone?" At this point, the green corpse ghost was about to break down. "I have no choice but to ask you for help. In this vast barren graveyard, it wasn't easy to find a familiar ghost like you. You must help me," Lin Ma insisted. Green corpse ghost suddenly fell to his knees in front of Lin Ma. "I really have something urgent to attend to. If I'm late, I'm done for." This kneeling scene was witnessed by the trailing trio, who were utterly shocked. Is this for real? Even a wicked spirit-level ghost is kneeling before Lin Ma. Does he have that much charisma? He's only a level 1 ghost master, yet we were at odds with him before. If he held a grudge, our graves would already be overgrown by now. At this moment, Gao Shishir was deep in thought. Lin Ma is becoming increasingly inscrutable. If we keep following him, we might gather more useful information. Gao Shishir comforted Sun Lily, who was visibly shaken, to calm her down. On the other side, Green Corpse Ghost was sitting on the ground, dejected, while Lin Ma was ceaselessly trying to persuade him to end his life. "Since you say only the area's big boss can kill me, then take me to him and let him do the job. You won't have to worry then," Lin Ma suggested suggested, patting Green Corpse Ghost's shoulder cheerfully. Fine, I'm on my way to congratulate the ghost boss anyway. You can come along. Green Corpse Ghost agreed. As they delved deeper into the barren graveyard, Lin Ma noticed various ghosts carrying gifts. Is your ghost boss celebrating a big birthday or something? He inquired. No, the northern graveyard boss is the red-dressed female ghost. She's getting married to Butcher Ghost from the western graveyard tonight. We lower-ranking ghosts have to go and celebrate, Green Corpse Ghost explained. I see. So that thing you're carrying on your back is a wedding gift, huh? Yes, but it's rather shabby. Originally, I planned to capture that chubby guy from your group and offer him as a gift. Unfortunately, you and that long-haired girl interfered, and now all I have is this less than impressive gift. Green Corpse Ghost lamented. In that case, why don't you say that your gift is me? I'm a genuine virgin. I'm sure your ghost boss will be pleased. That would be fantastic. Green Corpse Ghost's face lit up with joy, and he thanked Lin Ma promptly. He already began fantasizing about how the red-dressed female ghost would reward him. The two walked for another half hour or so and finally reached the vine-covered ancient mansion at the deepest part of the barren graveyard. The mansion emitted such strong ghost energy that a cloud of gloom had gathered above it. One can only imagine how powerful the boss ghost inside must be. Nearby ghosts smelled the scent of a living human and turned their heads to glare at Lin Ma. I just took a bath last night, so I smell great and will taste excellent. You haven't had a live meal in a while, Lin Ma said enthusiastically. You think I'd kill a living person on red-dressed female ghost's turf? Do you think I'm stupid? One decaying ghost retorted, looking at Lin Ma as if you were an idiot before angrily walking away. Lin Ma started cursing at the ghosts. You bunch of cowards are a disgrace to all ghosts. His actions astonished Sun Mao, who was lurking nearby. Who is this guy? All these ghosts are afraid to touch him. No wonder Father specifically instructed us to investigate his background and identity. He's definitely not ordinary. So, we also need to enter the ancient mansion tonight. Only then can we find the answers we're seeking. What? Are you saying the three of us should go in? Wouldn't that be suicide? Any random ghost in there could kill us instantly, Sun Mao said with trepidation. Don't worry, I have 3 ghost energy pills here. Once ingested, your bodies will naturally emit ghost energy, allowing us to blend in as ghosts. After exchanging a glance, Sun Mao's siblings nodded gently. It seemed their desire for future prospects had overcome their fear of death. Each took a ghost energy pill and consumed it. Within moments, their bodies began to emit traces of ghost energy, making them nearly indistinguishable from real ghosts with just a little disguise. Meanwhile, Lin Ma had arrived at the entrance of the ancient mansion. A ghost acting as the master of ceremonies was collecting gifts. West Cemetery Corrosive Ghost, a pair of eyeballs as a gift. South Cemetery Bloodied Ghost, a pair of lovers' hearts as a gift. When it was Green Corpse Ghost and Lin Ma's turn, the host ghost paused, but quickly understood the situation. From the western graveyard, Green Corpse Ghost gifts a 20-year-old virgin human, he announced loudly. An actual human, and a virgin at that? The ghosts already inside turned around, greedily eyeing Lin Ma. This was indeed a grand gift. Green Corpse Ghost was surely going to be in the good graces of red-dressed female ghost. Lin Ma was then roughly escorted by the steward ghost and thrown into a storage room where he was locked up with other gifts. Hearing the noise outside, Lin Ma sighed. This isn't going according to the script. I came here to ask red-dressed female ghost to kill me, so why am I locked up here? Frustrated, Lin Ma started kicking the various gifts around him, creating a mess. Just when he thought things couldn't get any worse, a previously silent blood-pupiled ghost spoke up. Kid, I sense red-dressed female ghost. She's right above you, in the attic, and she's not moving. Not moving? Well, if she won't come to me, I'll go to her. Lin Ma gently pushed open a window beside the storeroom. The old wooden window emitted a creaking sound, but all the nearby ghosts were too caught up in their revelry to notice. Just as he climbed out the window, however, he was spotted by 2 ghost maids who were serving dishes. Lin Ma quickly fled the scene and rushed upstairs without looking back. Is he also a guest at tonight's banquet? I didn't realize our host had such a diverse group of friends. Even a living human, one of the ghost maids said, not finding Lin Ma's behavior suspicious. After all, anyone who made it to the ancient mansion was no ordinary character. Guided by blood-pupiled ghost, Lin Ma quickly located red-dressed female ghost's room. He peered through the door crack and saw that the room was filled with red happiness. Characters and ancient red wedding candles were flickering away. Sitting at the foot of the bed was a young woman with snow-white skin and an amazing figure. He wondered how beautiful her face must be beneath the red veil. He knocked lightly on the door, and with a graceful wave of her slender hand, a stream of red ghost energy flew toward the door. Under the pull of this energy, the tightly closed door automatically swung open. What strong life energy. I didn't expect you to bring a living human as well. Let's enjoy a delicious meal together tonight, shall we? Hee. Lin Ma tiptoed up to the bed. Instead of the chilly aura usually associated with ghosts, a delicate fragrance wafted from the young woman. Unable to contain his curiosity about her appearance, Lin Ma lifted the red veil covering her face. Before him was a woman with a face as beautiful as a lotus and eyebrows like willow leaves. Her large, dewy eyes were captivating. The wedding banquet isn't over yet. Why are you so impatient? Said the female ghost shyly, without looking up at Lin Ma. I've finally found you. Hurry up and kill me, Lin Ma said. said, bursting into excited laughter. You're a living human? Red-dressed female ghost's eyes widened in anger. Do you know only the groom is allowed to lift this veil? Do you know the consequences of what you've done? What consequences? I'm not afraid. If you dare, kill me now, Linma said, visibly excited, thinking that red-dressed female ghost was finally about to lose her temper. Fine, the veil had to be lifted at some point anyway. Since you lifted it, you have to marry me, sighed the red-dressed female ghost, leaning her exquisite body closer. What the hell? Marry you? Linma's face froze. The veil can only be lifted by the groom, and since you lifted it, you are the groom, said the female ghost as she tightly gripped Linma, her smiling face flushed with a rosy hue. Hold on, I'm a human, not a ghost. Make sure you've got that right, said Linma. It doesn't matter. Actually, there's not much difference between human men and male ghosts. Besides, humans tend to be more good-looking, said red-dressed female ghost, biting her finger and speaking slowly. Unable to bear the situation, Linma, the innocent youth, was scared and rushed toward the door. Husband, running is not allowed here, said red-dressed female ghost, her hand moving swiftly as a surge of red ghost energy whizzed out. The room door closed automatically with a clang. Staring at the closed door, Linma froze. Is this some kind of violent obstruction? Don't come any closer, he yelled in panic, leaning against the wall. If you want to kill me, go ahead. I won't even blink. But this is something else entirely. Do you expect me to give up 20 years of purity so easily? As red-dressed female ghost gradually approached, Linma swore he would not let her have her way. Quickly, he scrambled up and dodged her, circling around a table while the female ghost chased after him, her face glowing with a seductive smile. Old bro, you've lived for hundreds of years and have plenty of experience. Help me out here. I can't help you. She's only half a step away from becoming an evil ghost, while I'm just a low-level malevolent spirit. Strategies are useless against sheer power. If you really want to die, it would have been ideal if she had just killed you. Who could have expected she would want something else? What should I do now? You have to show me a way out. Even if I summon Chainsaw Ghost and Big-Breasted Ghost, they won't stand a chance against her. Why don't you just give in? It's not impossible for humans and ghosts to be together. At most, your body will be invaded by her dark energy, and you'll recover after some rest. Get lost. You're just enjoying the show. If you're so capable, why don't you accompany her? At this point, Linma was about to lose his mind. Red-dressed female ghost, who had been chasing him, seemed to lose her patience. Enough. Stop running around, she said. With a light tap of her left foot on the ground, she soared into the air and tackled Linma to the floor. Look, I'm the leader of an entire graveyard, okay? I've got both the looks and the body. You won't be losing out by marrying me. Red-dressed female ghost's icy hand gently grazed Linma's chest, causing him to shudder. It's over. It's over. My 20 years of chastity are about to be lost. Just then, heavy footsteps came from the staircase. Ghost Butcher, wearing a red flower on his chest and with a large boning knife tucked into his waistband, walked straight up to the attic. Hearing a clanging noise from the room, Butcher Ghost was perplexed. What warm-up exercise is the bride doing? Then he pushed the door open, and the scene inside gave him quite a shock. Ghost Bride was pinning Linma to the ground, a wicked smile on her face. Upon seeing the groom walk in, Linma was elated. With this intense scene, Ghost Butcher will surely rip me to pieces in anger. It looks like I can finally achieve my wish to die. Seizing the moment when the female ghost looked away, Linma quickly pushed her off him and lunged at Butcher Ghost. Bro, I know you must be really angry right now, but you should vent it out quickly. Look, the knife you have there is pretty sharp. Use it on me. Go ahead. Use some force. Linma frantically gestured in front of Butcher Ghost. What the heck is going on here? On my big day, why is there an idiot? Seeing that Butcher Ghost had yet to react, Linma quickly continued to provoke him, trying to rile him up. I sneaked into your bridal chamber earlier and lifted the red veil off your bride, and I even— Hold on. Butcher Ghost interrupted Linma's words abruptly. Did you say you lifted her red veil? Yes, and we were about to, Linma said, clapping his hands mischievously. Ha ha ha. So that's what happened, Butcher Ghost said, not only unangry but actually slapping his chest with joy upon hearing that his bride-to-be was involved with someone else. This strange reaction left Linma somewhat puzzled, not knowing what to do next. Without another word, Ghost Butcher took off the red flower he was wearing and tied it to Linma's chest. Before Linma could say anything, he also took off his hat to congratulate him. Young friend, you are indeed a brave man. Congratulations on your wedding. Ha ha ha. Finally, I don't have to marry her. Ghost Butcher then joyfully laughed, put the groom's hat on Linma's head, and said, let's go drink. We won't return until we're drunk. He then turned and left the room, cheerfully running downstairs. What on earth is going on? Linma was puzzled. Could it be that he was forced into this marriage and I just did him a huge favor by lifting the veil? All I wanted was to die. Why is this so complicated? My dear, why are you still standing there? Time is of the essence on a wedding night, came the sultry voice of red-dressed female ghost from behind. It's over. I'm definitely losing my innocence now, Linma thought. He sneakily glanced back and, seizing the moment when red-dressed female ghost was distracted, bolted for the door. Trying to run? Not so easy. Her long hair suddenly stood on end and transformed into streaks of black light, wrapping around Linma in an instant. Terrified, Linma screamed for help, but who would care for a living human in this ghost-filled wilderness? A loud bang sounded as the door door to the attic closed tightly, and 2 red candles were snuffed out by a gust of wind, plunging the room into darkness. Meanwhile, the wedding banquet outside was still underway. After disguising themselves, Gao Shishir and 2 others successfully infiltrated the ancient mansion but found no trace of Lin Ma. Looking at all the ghosts eagerly eating, Sun Ma wondered if Lin Ma had already been served as a dish. That green corpse ghost came here with Lin Ma. Let's go inquire, Gao Shishir whispered. The 3 of them carefully maneuvered around the crowd of ghosts and made their way to Green Corpse Ghost's table. Sun Ma nervously sat down next to Green Corpse Ghost, staring at the table full of unidentified meats and organs, feeling nauseated. Green Corpse Ghost picked up a blood sausage and placed it into Sun Mao's bowl. Why aren't you eating? This blood sausage is good stuff. Sun Mao's face twisted at the thought of eating it. Seeing Sun Mao hesitate, Green Corpse Ghost looked at him suspiciously. I've never seen you around this deserted graveyard before. Also, your ghost energy is very faint. Hearing this, Sun Mao started sweating profusely. But for a ghost to not eat human flesh would be abnormal, so he had no choice but to toughen up and put the slimy blood sausage into his mouth. As the strong, foul smell of blood exploded in his mouth, Sun Mao felt his stomach churn and acid rushed up to his throat. His reaction to vomit instantly drew the attention of the surrounding ghosts, who all gave him questioning looks. At this moment, Gao Shishir gave Sun Mao a severe pinch on his thigh under the table, signaling that he must endure, or else their identities would be fully exposed. The intense pain and fear temporarily distracted Sun Mao from the taste of the blood sausage. He quickly chewed it a few times and swallowed it. Delicious, delicious, he said, nodding his head as if enjoying it. Seeing this, the other ghosts slowly relaxed their vigilance. Seeing the situation, Gao Shishir and Sun Lily also had to pretend to eat. All 3 were deeply frustrated. Had they not followed Lin Ma to this godforsaken place, they, being from wealthy families, would never have had to endure this. Just then, Ghost Butcher came down from upstairs, clapping his hands and shouting joyfully, I don't have to get married. Guys, I'm free. Why is that? Weren't you the groom today? Other ghosts asked, puzzled. Just now, a living person came upstairs. He may be young, but he's definitely a courageous one. He actually took it upon himself to lift the veil off the red-dressed female ghost. Now he's the new groom. I'm free. Ghost Butcher happily grabbed a jar of wine and took big gulps. Congratulations to Brother Butcher for escaping misery. The other ghosts also raised their glasses in celebration. This scene left the 3 people sitting in the corner dumbfounded. That living person is Lin Ma. Not only is he alive, but he's also now the groom. Running off to a deserted graveyard in the middle of the night to marry a ghost? Is this human behavior? Green Corpse Ghost stared toward the distant upstairs and sighed. Lin Ma is really extraordinary. He even dares to marry this tiger of a woman. Truly fearless. Excuse me, Ghost Brother, could you tell us why Ghost Butcher is so happy that his bride was stolen from him? You guys aren't local ghosts, so it's normal that you don't know. This red-dressed female ghost is from the Qing Dynasty era. On the day of her wedding, the groom suddenly died from drinking too much, and she was labeled as a husband killer. She suffered insults and discrimination from her in-laws and ultimately committed suicide in her red dress. After dying, she became a ghost and is now the most powerful entity in this desolate graveyard. But she has always been obsessed with getting married, so she forces handsome ghosts to marry her. Strangely, on the 2nd day after each wedding, the groom always dies mysteriously, and this has been going on for years. Now that good-looking male ghosts are running out, even rough guys like Ghost Butcher were on the list. So, if Ghost Butcher has escaped, doesn't that mean that the living person upstairs is doomed? Obviously, by dawn, they'll probably throw a pile of bones out of that room. After all, not even ghosts can withstand the fighting power of the red-dressed female ghost, let alone a living person. Green Corpse Ghost glanced at Sun Mao next to him and then chuckled darkly. You're not bad looking. You'll probably be next in line next year. Green Corpse Ghost's words immediately sent chills down Sun Mao's spine, and he couldn't stop trembling. At this moment, he felt that he was far inferior to Lin Ma, who had the courage to actively marry a female ghost, while he himself felt weak at the mere mention of female ghosts. I have to say, that guy is really something. At this point, Sun Lily suggested, since Lin Ma is surely dead, there's no need for us to stay here. Should we head back and report? Gao Shishir replied, I don't believe Lin Ma is done for. Let's wait until dawn and see what happens. If he's alive, we need to see him. If he's dead, we need to see his body. The next morning, Lin Ma groggily woke up from his sleep. The first thing he saw was a sea of red, and a soft arm was draped over him. Husband, you're awake, said the red-dressed female ghost as she gently touched Lin Ma's shoulder, her seductive eyes fixed on him. What the hell is going on? Lin Ma quickly threw off the red-dressed female ghost's delicate hand and hurriedly searched for his clothes. Husband, stop messing around. We're already husband and wife. You should be gentle with me. It took Lin Ma just 2 seconds to put on his clothes. He then turned to the red-dressed female ghost and said, I came here seeking death. How could you forcibly marry me? Why are you so pessimistic? Husband, do you also want to become a ghost and spend eternity with me? Spend eternity, my ass. You're a ghost. I'm a human. When I'm old, you'll still be young. What the hell have I done to deserve this? I need to get out of here. Lin Ma turned and started to walk towards the door. At that moment, he noticed noticed a bronze mirror on the table. His reflection showed pale lips, a blue face, and dark circles around his eyes. What the hell? You've sucked the life out of me in just one night. Oh, come on, look at you, you're still fine. At least you're up and about. Don't worry, I know how to play the long game. I've even asked my maid to prepare a rejuvenating soup for you. You'll be fine after that. Sister, please spare me. At this moment, he felt very weak, his legs wobbling uncontrollably. Husband, you are now mine. No one in this desolate graveyard will dare to touch you anymore. The red-dressed female ghost gently stroked Linma's chest, assertively saying, don't worry, with me around, unless the cursed spirit ghost from the northwest comes, no one can harm you. Don't go wandering around the northwest. That cursed spirit ghost is my archenemy. Just as the red-dressed female ghost finished her sentence, Linma swiftly opened the door and said, thanks for the heads up, ma'am. I have things to attend to, so I'll take my leave now. The ghost maid by the side couldn't help but ask the red-dressed female ghost, mistress, are you just letting him go like that? Don't worry, he'll be back. At this moment, the red-dressed female ghost gently stroked her abdomen, her face radiating with a motherly smile. Meanwhile, an exhausted Linma mustered all his strength and finally returned to his dorm. He gently pushed open the dorm door, planning to take a nap first and then head to the northwest to seek death from the wild grave ghost. However, just as he opened the door, a man with a buzz cut lunged at him with a sharp blade. Achio, it's me, hold back. The razor-sharp blade stopped just 0.01 millimeters from Linma's neck. Why do you reek of ghost energy? I thought a ghost had come in. At that moment, Black Little Fat, who had just woken up, saw Linma's worn-out appearance and couldn't help but ask, did you spend all night at an internet cafe or something? You look terrible. Something like that. I need to get some sleep now. At this point, Linma weakly leaned against the headboard of his bed and slowly said, I'm skipping classes today. Could you guys ask for a leave of absence for me from the professor? I think I'll need to sleep for an entire day. Achio looked at Linma with a serious face. Linma, let me give you some advice. Don't get involved with ghosts like that again. If this goes on, you'll eventually drain yourself to death. Before Achio could finish his sentence, Linma's snoring had already begun. Achio, feeling helpless, walked away. As the bell for class rang, the students filed into the classroom one after another. Gao Shishir and his two friends were nauseated by a lavish blood sausage meal, and, coupled with their exhausting night, they all lay down on their desks to sleep. Wow, even the top students sleep in class? I sleep in class too, so does that mean I'm on par with them? Amid the discussions, some students suddenly noticed that Linma, the recent talk of the school, was actually skipping class. Did brother Linma skip class to avoid Goddess Gao? Is he not attending class anymore? When class ended, a new beautiful scenery appeared at the classroom door. Mu Wanqing kept peeking into the classroom. Is Linma here? I have something to talk to him about. Black Little Fat quickly approached her and said, he went out last night for some business and only returned this morning. He's currently napping in the dorm. I see. Please remember to tell him that Anran has woken up. Hearing this conversation, Gao Shishir immediately straightened up. Linma is actually okay? I thought people who marry female ghosts are doomed to die. How come Linma is unscathed? Could it be that his real strength is even greater than that of the red-dressed female ghost? The Sun siblings thought about their previous clash with Linma and started sweating profusely again. It looks like our mission is still not complete. We must continue with our surveillance and investigation. Immediately, Gao Shishir led his three friends to continue staking out Linma. Linma slept until the afternoon and was now at a pharmacy buying kidney-fortifying pills. Seeing Linma yawning and looking listless, the pharmacist couldn't help but remind him to be moderate. Linma politely nodded, then grabbed a handful of pills and tossed them into his mouth. After taking these, I should appear a bit more energetic when I see Anran, right? Sun Mao, standing on the side, was eager to try. Could these kidney-fortifying pills be Linma's secret to surviving the female ghost? If they're this effective, maybe I should buy a few boxes later. After leaving the pharmacy, Linma went straight to Anran's hospital room. Seeing how pale and haggard Anran looked, Linma's heart ached as he asked, how are you feeling? Does it still hurt? Then he realized how stupid his question sounded. She's in an ICU, of course. Her injuries are severe, so they must hurt. Anran looked at Linma's awkward expression and smiled sweetly. It's okay. I've gotten used to injuries of this level. It was because of me that you got hurt. I'll definitely seek revenge for you from the Safety Bureau and get the antidote as soon as possible. Linma clenched his teeth. I can't entirely blame you. It was because of my request to explore the ancient tomb that this trouble started. By the way, how were you able to open that ancient tomb? And what does the Safety Bureau want with you? I'm doing my best to investigate, but I don't have any leads yet. I guess you can't do without me. Huh, look at how difficult it's been for you to gather information. When I get better, I'll help you. And Rand playfully said, you should stop worrying about that. You've been seriously injured. Focus on getting better. By the way, Linma, can I ask you for a favor? Linma sincerely said to Anran, of course. What do you need? Don't just say one thing. I can do a million things for you. My mother is seriously ill and in the hospital. Could you go check on her for me? Also, could you pay the overdue medical bills? The money is under the sofa in the bridge tunnel. Why would I use your money to take care of your mother? I'll pay for it. Besides, your mother is my mother too. Don't be a stranger. What are you talking about? At this point, a hint of blush appeared on on Enran's face. My mother is in the hospital in the west of the city. Her name is Yen. Understood. Leave this to me. Rest assured, it will be done properly. Linma subtly took Enran's hand. Meanwhile, the three-person group following them was eavesdropping from outside the room. Why does this girl look so much like me? Gao Shishir was very surprised as she looked at Enran's face. Just then, the ghost doll inside her suddenly began to stir, desperately wanting to break free. What's going on? Why is the ghost doll that I've had since birth trying to abandon me? Who are you? Just as Enran was puzzled, the Sun siblings prompted her that Linma was hurrying off campus again. Quickly follow him. It didn't take him long to find out where Nyan's hospital room was. Linma then saw Nyan lying on the hospital bed. Her complexion was sallow, her body thin, and she appeared almost inhuman due to her illness. Hello, Auntie, I am Enran's friend. She's been a bit busy recently and asked me to come and check on you, Linma said respectfully. Upon hearing this, Nyan slowly turned her body. When she saw Linma's face clearly, her body started to tremble. Then, with great effort, she got off the bed and knelt down in front of Linma. Linma was somewhat puzzled. What's going on? Why is my future mother-in-law kneeling to me? Auntie, what are you doing? Linma quickly set down the fruit basket and took a step forward to help Nyan up. However, the moment his hand touched Nyan's frail arm, he felt a surge of great strength. Nyan was gripping Linma's arm tightly, her cloudy eyes intently focused on him. If your surname is Lin, then it must be right, she said, tears streaming down her face as her lips quivered. Linma was confused at this point. Do you know me? He searched his memory for any information about Nyan, but found nothing. Nyan smiled and nodded. Yes, that's right. But in the next second, it seemed like she thought of something and quickly waved her hands in panic, indicating that they did not know each other. That's strange. You seemed overjoyed to see me just now, and now you're saying you don't know me? Anyone would think there's something going on, Linma thought. Facing Linma's skepticism, Nyan explained that she had heard from Enran about a friend with the surname Lin. When Linma walked in, she felt a sense of familiarity, so she thought it was him. I see, Linma said, still somewhat doubtful, but feeling it wasn't appropriate to press the matter further. How about I help you back to your bed? It's a bit awkward for me with you kneeling like this. Hearing this, Nyan slightly nodded her head. Once she was seated on her hospital bed, she glanced cautiously towards the door, then asked quietly, did anyone follow you here? I don't think so. But why are you so nervous? Auntie, is something wrong? I have a grudge against the Safety Bureau. I'm worried they might mistakenly think we're connected and get you involved, so you have to be very careful. Linma felt the genuine concern from Nyan and assured her that he would be cautious. He also told her that Enran was seriously injured because of him and couldn't come for a while, but he promised to take good care of her, asking Nyan not to worry too much. Nyan listened to Linma's words and nodded slightly. Seeing how Nyan reacted so calmly upon hearing her daughter was seriously injured, Linma felt a bit perplexed. This doesn't seem like a mother's response to her daughter's condition, he thought. However, Linma didn't ponder over it too much and proceeded to peel an apple for Nyan. Nyan suddenly asked, are your parents doing well? They're fine, in great health. They can even harvest dozens of acres of wheat in less than half a day. Oh, and by the way, my mother shares the same surname as you, Linma replied. Taking the apple from Linma, Nyan curiously asked, so your mother's surname is An? What's her name? Her name is Anshuang. A shocked expression appeared on Nyan's face. What? Anshuang, do you know my mother? Linma questioned, noting Nyan's unusual reaction. No, I don't know her. It's just that the surname An is quite common. Knowing that your mother also has that surname feels familiar to me, Nyan replied, and then lay back in bed and pulled the blanket over herself. If there's nothing else, you should go, she told Linma. Although puzzled by Nyan's behavior, Linma couldn't push a sick person for answers. He resolved to inquire further when the opportunity arose. Meanwhile, the trio following Linma quickly found out who he was visiting and reported it to the Safety Bureau. Gao Longshan, who was interrogating prisoners at Safety Bureau headquarters, became restless. This young man is in contact with Nyan? He must be a remnant of the seal demons. Gao Longshan urgently told Gao Shishir that he would arrive in 10 minutes and immediately drove to the hospital. On the other side, Linma had already left Nyan's room. After settling her overdue hospital bills and prepaying for the next 3 months, he prepared to head back to school. After all, he had to visit a desolate graveyard that night to seek a cursed spirit ghost. Not long after leaving the hospital, he received a phone call from his dad. My big son, your old man has already arrived in the coastal city. Come pick me up, said the excited voice on the other end. Didn't I tell you not to come? It's not safe here, Linma responded, somewhat speechless. What's unsafe? I'm just an honest farmer. What do I have to fear? Hurry up and get to the train station. I've brought 2 baskets of walnuts for you and it's wearing me out. All right, you're my dad. You're always right, Linma replied, resignedly hanging up the phone. Gao Shishir had been keeping a close eye on Linma's every move, but thinking that her father, Gao Longshan, would be arriving soon, she decided to wait and act together with him. No sooner had Linma left than the Safety Bureau's car arrived. Gao Longshan kicked open the door to Nyan's hospital room and loudly demanded to know whether Linma was a spawn of the seal demons. Inside the room, Nyan was wiping her face with a tissue. Her reddened eyes showed that she had been crying. You're insane. You suspect everyone of being a seal demon, Nyan said bitterly. Gao Longshan grabbed in Yen by the collar and yanked her up from her hospital bed. If he's not a spawn of the seal demons, why did you cry when you saw him? Have you been in contact all along? Spit. And Yen spat directly into Gao Longshan's face. Lin Ma told me you nearly beat my daughter to death. Am I not even allowed to cry? You cold-blooded animal. You can even lay a hand on your own daughter. Furious, Gao Longshan shoved In Yen violently onto the floor. How could a spawn born of you, a seal demon remnant, be worthy of being my daughter? Using his considerable strength, Gao Longshan stepped heavily on In Yen's chest. Tell me now, is that man a seal demon spawn or not? Seeing that In Yen remained silent, Gao Longshan sneered. So you're protecting seal demon remnants now? Why did you betray the seal demon prince back then? Do you have any idea how much he suffered? But that monster still trusted you until the end, refusing to believe that you betrayed him. In Yen, who had been indifferent up to this point, completely broke down. Tears of regret mixed with blood flowed from her eyes. Is Lin Ma the illegitimate child of the prince? If you tell me, I'll treat you well, like before. Didn't you see the princess and the young heir commit suicide by fire back then? Did you not see that with your own eyes? If you're just looking to kill innocents, you don't need so many excuses. You're worse than a beast. I'll kill you right here, right now. Gao Longshan started to punch and kick In Yen again. Just then, a figure in a white dress appeared at the hospital room's doorway. Dad, she said you have another daughter. Is that true? Gao Shishir, who had been outside, walked into the room. Her cold eyes were fixed intently on Gao Longshan. She just said that you nearly killed her. How could you? Gao Shishir, listen to me, Gao Longshan nervously said. Don't listen to this crazy woman. She's delusional and spouting nonsense. Don't lie to me, Gao Shishir interrupted. I've been outside since the moment you started speaking. I think I've already met your other daughter. She looks a lot like me. Shishir, let me explain. You two may look alike, but there's absolutely no relation between you. Dad, I know you too well. If you were innocent, you would present evidence to me like you used to. But now you're panicking. All that talk about only loving my mother, it's all lies. Ha ha ha. He's worse than a beast. And Yen chimed in. There are many more dirty deeds your father has done that you don't know about. Shut up. Gao Longshan yelled back at In Yen. I never want to see you again. You're not worthy of being my dad, Gao Shishir said tearfully as she left the room. At this point, In Yen burst into joyful laughter. Ha ha ha. Gao Longshan, you finally got what you deserved. Meanwhile, Lin Ma had no idea about the drama unfolding back there. Whistling, he was looking for Lin Lan near the train station. He spotted his dad among the crowd. He recognized his conspicuous dad from the crowd. Lin Lan was a picture of a simple, hardworking farmer, towel on his head, wearing a tank top that exposed his sturdy, tan chest. Dad, I'm here. Lin Ma waved at Lin Lan. Oh, look at you. You've grown taller again. Lin Lan cheerfully approached his son. I brought you 2 baskets of sun-dried walnuts. They smell fantastic. Lin Ma struggled to carry one of the heavy baskets. Dad, did you have to bring so much? What do you mean so much? I was planning on bringing you a few hundred more pounds, Lin Lan said, smiling at his son. His gentle demeanor was a far cry from the fierce look he had while harvesting wheat. The father and son duo bantered while looking for a place to eat. This city is so nice. People dress so lightly here, Lin Lan said, his eyes fixated on a passing woman dressed provocatively. Trying to divert his dad's attention, Lin Ma asked, by the way, how are mom and my sister doing? Your mother is fine, but your sister still has health issues. She gets winded just walking, Lin Lan replied, his eyes still following the long legs on the sidewalk. Why didn't you bring my sister along this time? Lin Ma grumbled softly. The medical facilities are better in the city. Shaking his head, Lin Lan said, it's useless. We've been to hospitals big and small over the years, to no avail. The two then walked into a restaurant. What would you two like to eat? The owner asked. Just as Lin Ma was about to order food, he noticed a familiar figure at the restaurant's entrance. The man was disheveled, his clothes tattered, holding a broken bowl, and was about to ask the restaurant owner for some food. Go away. No free meals here, the restaurant owner said, shooing the man away with disdain. Recognizing the man as his high school classmate, Wu Kun, Lin Ma quickly gestured for him to come over. Wu Kun, on seeing Lin Ma, was visibly moved, tears filling his eyes. I've been chased around by the safety bureau like a dog. It's good to finally see a familiar face, he said, immediately starting to eat as if he hadn't eaten for days. Slow down. Lin Ma was concerned. Don't choke yourself. Lin Lan looked on curiously. Lin Ma, you have a wide range of friends, even one from the Beggars Guild it seems. Dad, you've been watching too many movies. This guy actually saved my life. He led most of the safety bureau agents away the day they were after me. Speaking of which, Wu Kun, what happened to you after that day? How did you end up like this? What about the others? Finally full, Wu Kun looked cautiously at Lin Lan and hesitated to speak. Noticing this, Lin Ma quickly reassured him. It's fine. This is my dad. He's family. Wu Kun began to speak. The driver and I managed to escape, but we didn't dare go back to the school to look for you, fearing the safety bureau would find us. We've been hiding out until we thought it was safe to come out for food. However, sturdy man was caught by the safety bureau because he couldn't run fast enough due to a broken leg. We saw him get thrown into a car. They've been interrogating him, trying to find out who opened the tomb that night. Sturdy man is a real man. He hasn't said a word, despite being tortured. Right now, we don't have the resources to rescue him from the heavily guarded safety bureau. I fear he won't make it. So that's what happened, Lin Lan said. You boys were actually tomb raiding? Lean Ma, if you're short on cash, just tell your dad. I can work harder and harvest more wheat to earn money. Don't get involved in dangerous activities like tomb raiding ever again. Ah, Dad, I'm not short on money and I wasn't tomb raiding. It's a long story, just don't worry about it. Once we finish eating, you can head home. Wu Kun and I need to go back to school. Alright, I'll listen to my eldest son, Lin Lan said, picking up his bowl and starting to eat. However, no one noticed the glint of menace that appeared in the corner of his eye.